From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang in review. Malacañang on Monday assured the public that Presidential Communications Office or PCO Acting Secretary J. Ruiz will comply with legal requirements concerning his business interests, particularly regarding his alleged ties to a private media firm. In a press briefing, PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro addressed concerns surrounding Ruiz's previous business dealings with government agencies prior to his appointment. A report revealed that Digital 8 Incorporated, a media company co-founded by Ruiz, supposedly won a contract worth over 206 million pesos with the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office or PCSO for the airing of lotto draws over state-run IBC 13 in the last quarter of 2024. Castro said the law allows appointees to divest their shares or interests in private companies within 60 days after assuming a government position. She confirmed that Ruiz is already in the process of complying with this requirement. Castro said Ruiz was preparing the necessary documents to divest his shares in the media firm. In response to inquiries about potential conflicts of interest, Castro stressed that Ruiz's business dealings prior to his appointment were not an issue, as they occurred before his designation as PCO chief. In a later statement, the PCO clarified that Ruiz was not an incorporator or director of Digital 8 and has never owned any shares in the company. It said Ruiz was merely Digital 8's authorized representative to the joint venture agreement due to his position as head of its sales and marketing. It added that the joint venture won the contract through competitive public bidding in October of 2024 in full compliance with all rules, regulations, and laws pertaining to public bidding. The PCO said Ruiz resigned from the company on January 15, 2025 and was replaced as the company's representative to the joint venture through a board resolution on January 17, 2025, more than a month before he was appointed PCO Secretary.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Presidential Communications Office or PCO Secretary J. Ruiz on Tuesday strongly dismissed as fake news a report alleging that he owns a private media firm that secured over 200 million pesos in government contracts, adding that the report is part of a demolition job aimed at undermining his credibility. In an interview, Ruiz said he only served as an authorized representative for Digital 8 Incorporated during the negotiations of the 206 million peso deal with the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office or PCSO for the airing of lotto draws over state-run IBC 13. He stressed that the deal was signed prior to his appointment as PCO chief and that he had resigned from the firm in January 2025. Ruiz took his oath as PCO secretary on February 24th. Ruiz said the accusations against him were baseless and untrue, as the company and its dealings occurred before he entered public office. He also expressed frustration over how the report had affected his family, particularly his children, and lamented how his side of the story was not taken before the allegations were made public. Ruiz said that he is trying to reform the office and that he has only been head of the PCO for 8 days, and yet they have been throwing mud at him. He clarified that the firm he was associated with is a political communication management company and that he is in the process of divesting his interests in it.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has appointed former Executive Secretary and now television executive Oscar Orbos as acting general manager of People's Television Network or PTV. Presidential Communications Office or PCO Acting Secretary J. Ruiz confirmed the development to Palace reporters on Monday evening. Ruiz said Orbos agreed to head the state-run television network, albeit in an acting capacity. Secretary Ruiz said Orbos is already old and won't stay long, but would rather stay as chairman. Orbos has been serving as PTV board chair since October of 2024. Orbos hosted the popular debate program Debate with Mari at Pare on GMA7 in the late 1990s. He also served in the cabinet of the late President Corazon Aquino, first as Transportation and Communications Secretary, then as Executive Secretary. Orbos will replace Antonio Toby Nebrida Jr., who was appointed PTV General Manager back in June of 2024. According to Ruiz, the development came amid complaints from PTV personnel regarding Nebrida's leadership.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. wants a long-term response plan to ensure the safety of residents affected by the eruption of Canlaon volcano in Negros Island. According to the Presidential Communications Office or PCO, the plan includes identifying safe evacuation sites and establishing permanent relocation areas for those displaced by the disaster. In a meeting in Malacañang on Tuesday, the President emphasized the need to keep the composition of the planned National Task Force on Canlaon small, with the Department of National Defense Office of Civil Defense or DND-OCD taking the lead role. The chief executive highlighted the importance of moving residents out of danger zones and constructing large, secure evacuation centers to protect them in the event of future eruptions. President Marcos also acknowledged the strong collaboration between national and local governments, which has been crucial in providing assistance to affected areas. Likewise, the President urged concerned agencies to continue supporting the localities. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, reported that the eastern side of Canlaon volcano is still inflating, at least at the upper slopes, with 9 tremors recorded in the past 24 hours. An explosion eruption occurred on December 9, 2024.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Tuesday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. approved the 700 million peso funding for the establishment of Child Development Centers or CDCs in 4th and 5th class municipalities. In a sectoral meeting in Malacañang with the 2nd Congressional Commission on Education or EDCOM2 and other concerned agencies, the President said daycare centers can also be used as CDCs as the kids are there. EDCOM2, a national commission tasked to undertake a comprehensive national assessment and evaluation of the performance of the education sector. He has asked the President to allocate 700 million pesos in the next 3 years to provide low-income villages access to early childhood development initiatives. The Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, committed to fund the establishment of CDCs for this year. The 700 million pesos, which will be coursed through the Local Government Support Fund, or LGSF, will finance the development of CDCs for every municipality, Education Secretary Juan Edgardo Sani Angara said during the meeting. According to EDCOM2's Year 2 report, around 5,800 villages still do not have CDCs despite a 1990 law requiring each village to have at least one. Some 229 of them belong to low-income LGUs. During the meeting, it was also noted that EDCOM2 will work with the Commission on Higher Education, Department of the Interior and Local Government, and the Early Childhood Care and Development Council to increase the number of early childhood education graduates in regions identified to be lacking. This is in line with the EDCOM2's call to fix the foundations of the education system through early childhood education, nutrition, and early grade numeracy and literacy. EDCOM2 Executive Director Dr. Carol Marquis said, by fixing the foundations, nutrition, early childhood education, literacy, and numeracy by grade 3, this will ensure that reforms are strategic, targeted, and enduring. The Chief Executive, meanwhile, underscored the importance of addressing the challenges in education. He thanked President Marcos and the DBM for the swift action on their funding request.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Tuesday, Malacañang announced that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has terminated the appointment of Presidential Security Command, or PSC Commander Major General Jesus Nelson Morales. Palace Press Officer and Presidential Communications Office, or PCO Undersecretary Claire Castro, confirmed to Palace reporters the termination of Morales' designation as PSC head starting Tuesday. Castro said Morales will be replaced by Brigadier General Peter Burgonio, who will serve as acting PSC commander on the same day Morales was terminated. Morales served as head of the PSC in 2023. Also in 2023, President Marcos tapped Burgonio as the commander of the Philippine Army's Army Intelligence Regiment. Formerly known as the Presidential Security Group, the PSC is a unit under the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, mandated to provide protection, escort for the President, Vice President, and their immediate families, as well as honor guard duties for visiting dignitaries. The PSC is stationed at Malacañang Palace in Manila, the official residence of the President. Members of the PSC also accompany the Chief Executive during both domestic and overseas trips.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has signed into law a measure seeking to create pathways for working professionals to earn degrees through non-traditional means. President Marcos signed Republic Act, or RA 12124, or the Tertiary Education Equivalency and Accreditation Program, or ETEEAP Act, on Monday, allowing working professionals to earn college degrees without going through the traditional schooling methods. The ETEEAP will identify, assess, validate and assign equivalent undergraduate level and special graduate programs of prior learning from formal, non-formal, and informal learning systems and relevant work experiences to qualified individuals for the grant of appropriate academic degrees. The Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, will serve as the lead implementing agency of the new law. Its functions include deputizing higher education institutions, or HEIs, with academic degrees to be opened for the ETEEAP, developing standards for a diversified mode of assessing skills, values, knowledge, and levels of competence, and granting or revocation of HEI's authority to implement the ETEEAP. The CHED is also tasked with monitoring and evaluating the implementation of the ETEEAP by deputized HEIs, convening broad-based and interagency consultation meetings, and setting standard fees and other administrative charges for accreditation that will contribute to ETEEAP's special account. To ensure the effective implementation of ETEEAP, the Office of Programs and Standards Development, or OPSD, under CHED, will be strengthened to serve as the permanent technical secretariat for carrying out the new law's functions. To avail the program, applicants must be at least 23 years old at the time of the application and have completed a secondary school program, as evidenced by a high school diploma or a result of the Philippine Educational Placement Test or Alternative Learning System Accreditation and Equivalency Assessment and Certification stating that the individual concerned is qualified to enter college. Applicants must also have at least 5 years of aggregate work experience in the industry related to the academic degree program or discipline where equivalency of learning is sought. Meanwhile, Senator Joel Villanueva lauded the signing of the ETEEAP Act, calling it a crucial step toward helping Filipino workers advance their career. Villanueva thanked the chief executive for recognizing the importance of the measure and acknowledged the role of his colleagues, including Senate President Francis Cheese Escudero, in its passage.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has declared May of every year as Ease of Doing Business, or EODB month, to boost the government's efforts in enhancing service delivery, creating a business-friendly environment, and improving bureaucratic efficiency. In Proclamation Number 818, signed by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin on March 3rd, the President tasked the Anti-Red Tape Authority, or ARTA, to lead the annual observance of the month-long celebration. The proclamation directs the ARTA to identify and implement programs and activities that align with the goals of the campaign. All government agencies, including government-owned and controlled corporations, or GOCCs, and local government units are directed to collaborate with the ARTA to ensure the successful execution of initiatives under the EODB month. The private sector and non-government organizations are also encouraged to participate and support these efforts. The observance aims to raise awareness and reinforce the administration's commitment to improving the regulatory environment, reducing red tape, and accelerating economic development. The ARTA, under the Anti-Red Tape Act of 2007, is responsible for monitoring compliance, recommending policies, and spearheading initiatives to streamline government services and enhance business operations in the country.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Wednesday said It is seeking a deeper investigation into the recent collapse of the newly retrofitted Cabagan-Santa Maria Bridge in Isabela Province. In a briefing, Palace Press Officer and Presidential Communications Office, or PCO Undersecretary Claire Castro, said, "A thorough investigation is needed since initial findings have shown that the bridge was under-designed and could only accommodate light vehicles." Castro said the owners of heavy trucks that passed over the bridge may also be held liable. This, as she stressed that trucks with boulders are aware that the bridge is designed to only carry light vehicles. Castro said the previous administration may not only be held accountable, but up until the present. The third span of the Cabagan-Santa Maria Bridge, measuring 60 meters, collapsed at about 8 in the evening on February 27th when a dump truck with 102-ton boulders went over the bridge. 6 persons on board, 4 vehicles, including a child, were injured when the bridge collapsed. The construction of the bridge commenced in November 2014 and was completed on February 1st, 2025, with a total cost of 1.22 billion pesos, including the bridge and approaches. The contractor of the bridge is RD Interior Jr. Construction.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday inspected the state-of-the-art Rice Processing System 2 or RPS-2 in Ipil Town, Echage, Isabela Province. The President toured the modernized rice processing system with Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. and local officials. Inaugurated in November of 2024, the project is part of the government's Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund or RCEF mechanization program. The total investment in the project is 67.48 million pesos, which includes a multi-stage rice mill with a capacity of 3 tons per hour, valued at 48.58 million pesos, and 5 recirculating dryers each with a 12-ton capacity worth 18.9 million. The project aims to reduce production costs and minimize post-harvest losses, 2 key challenges facing the local rice industry.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Thursday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. vowed to construct a new bridge in Isabela Province following the collapse of Cabagan-Santa Maria Bridge. The President made the commitment after inspecting the collapsed bridge, saying the old design was poor and really weak. In a media interview after the inspection, President Marcos said the original budget for the construction of the bridge was 900 million pesos but rose to 1.2 billion because of retrofitting. The bridge, spanning 990 meters and consisting of 12 arches and 9 spans of pre-stressed concrete girders, was designed for light vehicles only and is a vital route linking Cabagan and Santa Maria to Enrile, Cagayan, and Tabuk City, Kalinga. The construction of the bridge commenced in November 2014 and was completed on February 1st, 2025 with a total cost of 1.22 billion pesos, including the bridge and approaches. The contractor of the bridge was RD Interior Jr. Construction. President Marcos said the contractor followed the plan and the construction work was done according to the book up to the specification. The chief executive, however, said there is a design problem because the specification was wrong.
Design flaw. It is a design flaw. Mali yung design. Ang history kasi nito, dapat ang funding nito was supposed to be, ang project cost nito is 1.8 billion. So binawasan to under 1 billion para makamura. Ayan, inaayos ngayon, ginawa ngayon yung detailed design. Design is really weak. Dahil kung tutusin ninyo, this is supposed to be a suspension bridge, nakasabit. Ganyan yung arko na ganyan, tapos yung bridge suportado ng kable. Ito lang ang suspension bridge na nakita ko sa buong mundo na hindi kable. At yan na mismo ang bumigay. Ayan, diyan bumigay yung bakal. Kung kable yan, hindi dapat bumigay yan. Tapos yung pag-anchor nung support, tignan niyo, doon lang sa baba. Dapat sa taas yan hanggang sa taas para hanggang sa taas para yung buong arc. Ito ang nagsusupport sa kanya. Yan yung bakal na nakikita niyo at saka yung semento. Yan lang ang nagsusupport doon sa buong tulay. So mahina talaga ang design dito. Hindi natin kailangan malaking nung una pa nga ginagawa ito kasi naging umabot 900 million natin yung original na budget. Umabot ng 1.2 dahil nag-refit. Bakit nag-refit? Nung nagko-construction pa lang may nakita na gumagalaw na mahina. Kaya kailangan balikan at refit. So the whole process is okay naman yung construction, yung contractor sinundan naman ang plano. By the book naman yung kanyang ginawa, up to specifications yung kanilang ginawa. Yun lang, yung specifications mali. So this is a design problem. Napos, this is a 44-ton bridge. Dapat 44 tons ang acceptable load. Yung dalawang truck na yan, yung naiwan yung isa, over 100 tons yan. Dalawa yan ang dumaan. Kaya, ayan ang nangyari. Hindi talaga kaya. Ito yata yung una Ito yung bumigay. Wala nang plate Ito. Baka na. And then, sumunod na lang. Ito yung una. Ito yung una. Tama. Kaya nakaganyan yan. Hindi dito. Dahil tama. Dito bumigay. Ganyan. Hinila lahat ito. So, wala. We have no choice. We have to go back. So, yung nagtitipid natin sa 1.8 million, useless. Ngayon, babalik na naman tayo, gagastos na naman tayo ng malaki. Papalitan natin yung mga support, parang nagtayo na naman tayo ng bagong tulay. Well, I always have a saying, fix the problem, not the blame. Ayusin muna natin yung problema. Believe me, we will find out who is responsible. Who is responsible is basically who made the design. Because their design was poor. Look what happened. And then also, those trucks should never have been on the bridge. So, sino liable dyan? Province.
Hindi national to national. To?
Yeah, we have to be more careful about monitoring yung mga load. Kasi, ganyan ang problema. Kung 44 tons ang sinasabi, sasakyan mo ng 200 plus tons, medyo hindi nakakapagtaka na ganito ang mangyayari.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Thursday, Malacañang said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered the immediate investigation into the recent crash of an FA-50PH jet fighter that killed 2 pilots of the Philippine Air Force or PAF. In a press briefing, Palace Press Officer and Presidential Communications Office or PCO Undersecretary Claire Castro said, Malacañang is saddened by the incident. The crashed FA-50PH with tail number 002 was reported missing on March as it was about to take part in a tactical night operation in the Eastern Mindanao Command. The South Korean-made aircraft, along with other members of its flight, took off from Benito Ebuen Air Base in Mactan, Cebu. The PAF on Wednesday immediately grounded all 11 remaining FA-50PH jet fighters in its inventory following the discovery of the wreckage of the missing aircraft in the vicinity of Mount Kalatungan complex in Bukidnon. It also vowed to expedite the investigation as it is yet to determine the exact cause of the mishap. The country acquired 12 FA-50PHs from Korea Aerospace Industries for 18.9 billion pesos.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Malacañang on Thursday said the Marcos administration is committed to enhancing the Filipino workers' skills and wooing more investors to improve employment. This as Palace Press Officer and Presidential Communications Office or PCO Undersecretary Claire Castro expressed elation over the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA's latest report showing that the labor force participation rate in January 2025 translates to a total of 20.65 million Filipinos, higher than the 48.06 million logged in January 2024 and 50.12 million recorded in October of 2024. In a Palace Press briefing, Castro said the government has strengthened skills training at the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA so that workers are better prepared for high-growth industries. She added that because of the Create More Act, more entrepreneurs are investing in the Philippines to generate more jobs and more opportunities in the information technology and business process management or IT BPM sector through reskilling and upscaling to keep up with new technology. Create More stands for Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises, maximize opportunities for reinvigorating the economy. Castro stressed that because of the government's efforts, more job opportunities and higher quality of employment will be provided to Filipinos. She also expressed confidence that more entrepreneurs will invest in the country, adding that they are vital in strengthening the Philippine economy. She also assured the public that the government is implementing better programs regarding employment generation for more Filipinos. Castro said the opening of 2,280 jobs from 30 investors from various industries in Clark, Pampanga Province would also help in improving the country's employment rate. The PCA also reported that youth labor force participation rose to 31.8% in January 2025, up from 29.7% a year earlier, reflecting stronger engagement among young Filipinos in the labor market.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Thursday said the government is taking measures to ensure a stable water supply ahead of the dry season, with officials closely monitoring the situation. In a press briefing, Presidential Communications Office or PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said, water supply remains stable but assured the public that the government will promptly address potential shortages during the dry season. She clarified that no official declaration has been made regarding the onset of El Niño, which heavily affected the country last year. Castro emphasized that the government is prepared to address the possible impacts of the dry season. Addressing concerns about potential water rationing, Castro reassured the public that efforts would be made to avoid such situations. According to Weather Bureau, Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA, the peak of the dry season will be experienced from the end of March until April.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Friday recognized the high-performing local government units or LGUs and local nutrition focal points or LNFPs with outstanding nutrition program management practices as he led the 2024 National Nutrition Awarding Ceremony. Spearheaded by the National Nutrition Council or NNC since 1978, the LGU awardees were assessed based on how they enact policies, allocate budgets, implement and sustain effective nutrition programs. The LNFP awardees, composed of LGU workers who oversee the coordination and management of nutrition programs, were evaluated based on their capability to coordinate, manage, and advocate nutrition initiatives. The LNFP became part of the National Nutrition Awarding Ceremony in 2021 due to their key role in improving nutrition in their respective areas. This annual awarding rites is a testament to the government's unwavering commitment to addressing malnutrition in the country by championing nutrition programs in local communities. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
It is clear that the strength of a nation lies in the well-being of its people. A healthy citizenry, fueled by proper nutrition, forms the foundation of a productive and prosperous society. We are constantly reminded that we must be mindful of the food that we consume and the environment that we surround ourselves with. However, we do not always take time to recognize the passionate individuals who are dedicated to our shared mission of building a healthier nation. This occasion is very timely as we are zeroing in on healthcare and nutrition strategies that will sustain our country's development. I am therefore delighted to join you in the 2024 National Nutrition Awarding Ceremony. Today, we honor and we celebrate the outstanding achievements of 23 local government units and 5 local nutrition focal points for their exceptional efforts in improving the nutrition situation in their places, in their areas. Congratulations to all the awardees. This is a moment for reflection, recognition, and a renewed determination in our pursuit of a stronger and healthier Bagong Pilipinas. While we have made significant progress, it cannot be denied the Philippines continues to face complex nutritional challenges. Malnutrition exists at alarming levels across different stages of life throughout our country, and this has multifarious effects. It has wrought deleterious effects on the cognitive development and the future of our children. It has contributed to our children falling behind in their education. We just had a meeting with the Second Congressional Commission on Education, or EDCOM 2, a few days ago. And that study found most students are already 2 to 3 years behind curriculum expectations by the time they reach grade 3. And therefore, it's very, very clear, it's never too early because the effects are the effects of malnutrition, stunting, that start at a very young age. And after a certain age, maybe around 8 years old, they are very difficult to reverse, if actually possible. And that is what the study has given us. And this and other findings have made a significant impact on our social and economic development as a nation. We are taking urgent, decisive, and multi-sectoral action to address the problem. In line with our commitment to addressing malnutrition, we have launched several key government programs. We have, first of all, changed the policy, wherein we have shifted the policy of the Department of Health, where we are trying to improve our services in terms of the preventive phase of healthcare. And the curative phase, of course, I think is very clear. But the preventive phase, and that includes nutrition. Furthermore, even in the Department of Agriculture, we have stopped talking about simply food supply. We have now started talking about nutrition. It is not sufficient that we have that we have enough of everything to eat. If the family, especially the child, are not still eating the right things. And that is why we have a program with DSWD that addresses that problem. And that problem, we have done a program for the first 1,000 days of a pregnant mother. Before that, even the pregnant mother is already attended to, and then for the next 2.5 years. After that, we have feeding programs in school. We have feeding programs that make sure, meron tayong bagong sistema ngayon. Pagka yung binibigyan natin na kasama sa feeding program, meron silang booklet. At parang sinasabi, sa bawat linggo, ito yung dapat na makuha kayong carbohydrates, pero dapat meron din kayong gulay na ganito, dapat meron din kayo. So pag inubos mo na yung isa, kailangan yun na lang yung natitirang kukunin nyo. That way, we somehow balance. So nutrition is the key. And that is why this is such an important event, because we have seen the initiatives of the local governments. Noong 2023, nilagdaan ng inyong lingkod ang Executive Order number 44 upang maipatupad ang Walang Gutom 2027. Yun yung programang sinasabi ko na nutritional ang iniisip, hindi lamang food supply. Ito ay may food stamp program. Layunin ng programang ito na masuportahan ng mga mahihirap na pamilya sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng 3,000 pisong monthly food credit. Kung kada sambahayan upang ipambili ng masustansyang pagkain sa mga stall ng kadiwa at mga otorisadong tindahan. Kapalit ng tulong na ito, ang pagdalo nila sa mga sesyon pagtungkol sa nutrisyon at mga aktibidad sa pagsulong ng trabaho. Itong taon naman, dinawakan natin ang saklaw ng Pantawid Filipino Program o 4Ps. Mamamahagi tayo ng 350,000 piso na bawat buwan sa mahigit 68,000 mga 4-piece household na may buntis o batang may edad na 0 hanggang 2 taong gulang. Layon nito na matugunan ang malnutrition sa mga bata na nasa ilalim ng 4-piece program. These efforts align with the goals of the Philippine Development Plan, which sets a target of achieving zero hunger by 2028 as part of our commitment to sustainable and inclusive growth. But the national government is not alone in this fight. Through the support and corresponding efforts of our local governments and their chief executives, we can achieve more and cover more ground in this fight that we have started. Last Tuesday, we had an in-depth discussion on the need to address stunting and nutritional issues so we can strengthen our children's foundation and allow them to succeed in their education and in their later life. I have directed the DILG to ensure that healthcare and nutrition are included as a priority indicator in our seal of good local governance. We are looking again at the criteria that is being examined when granting the seal of local government, and I insisted that healthcare be part of that. Healthcare in terms of nutrition, healthcare in terms of vaccination, in terms of access to health services. These are the things that are very, very important. We really must take to heart the very painful lessons of the pandemic. Wag natin, nahirapan tayong lahat sa pandemya. Lahat tayo, we have all suffered losses to our families, of our loved ones. And so let not that pain that we suffer through go to waste. Let us use that and learn the lessons of the pandemic and build up our healthcare system, build up our nutritional system. It's the only way to go. This ensures that the whole of nation approach is pursued as we go towards our goal of promoting the health and nutrition of future Filipino generations. I once again urge all local chief executives, commit to providing your counterpart investments in nutrition, especially for nutritionally at-risk pregnant mothers for the first 1,000 days of life of children and beyond. It is essential that adequate health and nutrition interventions are integrated into the annual investment plan of each local government unit. Investing in human capital is the key to securing our nation's future. Therefore, let us intensify our commitment to breaking the cycle of intergenerational malnutrition by looking after the welfare of our people, especially pregnant women, mothers, and their children. To our awardees, once again, we commend your dedication, your initiatives, and commitment to improve the lives of the most vulnerable in our society. Let the best practices that you have introduced in your respective communities inspire others to create a ripple effect that will move out towards the countryside, towards a healthier future. Lalo nyo pang paigtingin ang inyong mga magagandang gawain para masugpo ang problema natin sa malnutrisyon. Mga kababayan, ang pagkakaroon ng sapat na nutrisyon ay hindi lamang nakukuha sa pagkain ng tama, kundi pati rin sa pagsigurong mayroon tayong malinis na kapaligiran, ligtas na komunidad, at matiwasay na pamumuhay. Patuloy tayo magtulungan at pag-iralin ang disiplina sa lahat ng oras upang makamit natin ang isang tunay na mapayapa, malusog at masaganang bagong Pilipinas. Once again, congratulations to all the awardees. Mabuhay kayong lahat. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 9.475 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.820 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang in Review. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.